Welcome back to the show. This is episode 4, and today we are diving deep into something that affects every single one of us, whether we realize it or not, the hidden challenges of artificial intelligence. While we celebrate AI's incredible capabilities and convenience, there is a darker side that's quietly reshaping how fair, private, and trustworthy our digital world really is. I am Athar Shah, and over the next 25 minutes, we will uncover the bias built into algorithms, the privacy violations happening behind the scenes, and why trust in AI system is crumbling faster than tech companies can rebuild it. This isn't just about tech policy, it's about the future of fairness and freedom in our increasingly AI driven society. Let's start with a statistic that should make everyone pause. Only 46% of people globally are willing to trust AI systems, despite 66% using them regularly. Think about that contradiction for a moment. Two-thirds of us are all using AI daily in our search results, social media feeds, job applications, medical diagnosis, but less than half of us actually trust it. This trust deficit isn't just a number, it represents a fundamental crack in the foundation of our digital security. When the majority of people don't trust the system making decisions about their lives, we have a crisis brewing. And the numbers are getting worse. Recent survey shows that only 11% of Americans are more excited than concerned about AI, while 79% want strict government regulations. The geographic divide is stark too. China shows 83% trust in AI compared to just 39% in the United States. This isn't just about cultural differences, it's about different experiences with AI, transparency, and accountability. To understand why trust is eroding, we need to look at how AI actually sees the world, and what we find is deeply disturbing. Facial recognition technology used everywhere from airports to smartphones demonstrates error rates of just 1% for white men compared to almost 35% for dark skinned women. This isn't a small technical glitch. This is a system that literally sees some people more clearly than the others. The National Institute of Standards and Technology found that Asians, African Americans, and American Indians generally had higher false positive error rather than white individuals, and women had higher false positive rather than men. But here's what makes this even more concerning. These aren't just academic studies. These systems are deployed in real world scenarios where being misidentified can mean being arrested, denied entry, or flagged as a security threat. The difference between a 1% error rate and a 35% error rate isn't just statistics. It's the difference between technology that works for you and technology that works against you. Let me tell you about one of the most infamous example of AI bias in action. Amazon, yes, the company that prides itself on data-driven decisions, developed an AI recruiting tool that systematically discriminated against women. The algorithm was trained on resumes submitted to Amazon over a 10 years period, which were predominantly from white males. Here's how the discrimination worked. The AI penalized any resume that contained the word women's and downgraded the resume of women who attended women's college. Think about that. The algorithm learned that being associated with women in any way was a negative factor for hiring. Amazon eventually scrapped the entire system, but not before it had been making biased hiring recommendations. The scariest part, this wasn't intentional discrimination. This was an algorithm learning from historical data and amplifying existing biases. It shows how AI can institutionalize and automate discrimination at scale. The bias problem gets even more serious when we look at criminal justice. Courts across the United States use algorithms to assess the risk of reoffending, and these systems show clear racial bias. Black defendants are almost twice as likely to be incorrectly classified as high risk compared to white defendants. The Compass algorithm used widely in the US courts has been found to have similar error rates for different racial groups. But the types of errors are dramatically different. When the algorithm makes mistakes about white defendants, it tends to underestimate their risk. When it makes mistakes about black defendants, it tends to overestimate their risk. This means that an algorithm supposedly designed to make the justice system more objective is actually perpetuating and legitimizing racial bias. Judges use these risk scores to make decisions about sentencing, parole, and bail. When the algorithm is biased, it's not just making a recommendation, it's reshaping someone's entire life trajectory. The bias problem extends into healthcare, where the consequences can be literally life and death. AI driven diagnostic tools for skin cancer are less accurate for individuals with dark skin due to lack of diversity in training dataset. This happens because most medical AI systems are trained primarily on data from white patients. When these systems encounter patients with darker skin tones, they are operating outside their training parameters. The result, misdiagnosis risk for individuals with darker skin tones and exclusion from AI-based clinical applications. Imagine being denied potentially life-saving treatment because an AI system was never properly trained to recognize your skin color. This isn't hypothetical. It's happening right now in hospitals and clinics around the world. Now let's talk about the business impact because bias isn't just morally wrong, it's expensive. 36% of companies have reported financial losses due to biased algorithm. Of these affected companies, more than half lost revenue or customers, while nearly half lost employees, and over a third incurred legal fee from litigation. These aren't small costs we are talking about. The iTutor Group case resulted in 365,000 settlement for automatically rejecting over 200 qualified applicants based on age. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission found that the company programmed its application review software to automatically reject female applicants aged 55 or older and male applicants aged 60 or older. One rejected applicant figured out the bias when they resubmitted an application with a more recent birth date but otherwise identical information and suddenly got an interview. This case represents the first workplace artificial intelligence settlement by the EEOC, but it certainly won't be the last. Now let's shift to privacy because while we are worried about bias, AI companies are quietly harvesting our personal data at unprecedented scales. AI incidents jumped by 56.4% in 2024 with 233 reported cases, but that's just what we know about. 97% of organizations experienced at least one security breach related to generative AI in the past year. Let me repeat that 97%. We are not talking about a few bad actors here. We are talking about systematic privacy failures across the entire AI industry. The financial impact is staggering. 73% of enterprises experience AI related security incidents, averaging 4.8 million per breach. 68% of organizations have experienced data leaks linked to the use of AI tools, yet only 23% have formal security policies in place. The regulatory response has been swift and expensive. OpenAI was fined 15 million by Italy for processing personal data without proper legal basis. The Italian Data Protection Authority found that OpenAI used personal data to train ChatGPT without having an adequate legal basis and violated the principle of transparency. This isn't just about one company. TikTok received a 530 million euro fine for improperly translating users' personal data to China. The investigation revealed that engineers in China were routinely able to access sensitive information belonging to people in the European Economic Area. These fines represent real accountability, but they also reveal the scope of the problem. When major AI companies are routinely violating privacy laws, it suggests that privacy protection is being treated as an optional extra rather than a fundamental requirement. Perhaps most concerning is how AI surveillance technology is spreading globally. 75 out of 176 countries globally are actively using AI surveillance technologies. This includes 64 countries deploying facial recognition systems and 56 countries implementing smart city platforms. China leads this expansion with technology linked to Chinese companies supplying AI surveillance technology in 63 countries, 36 of which have signed on to China's Belt and Road Initiative. Huawei alone is responsible for providing AI surveillance technology to at least 50 countries worldwide, often with limited oversight or public debate over the privacy implications. Now let's talk about the fastest growing AI threats, deepfakes. Deepfakes incidents surged to 179 cases in just the first quarter of 2025, already surpassing the total for all of 2024. This represents a 3,000% increase in deepfake fraud attempts. The financial damage is extraordinary. Financial losses from deepfakes enabled fraud exceeded $200 million during the first quarter of 2025. 60% of consumers have encountered deepfake content within the past year, and 68% deepfakes are now nearly indistinguishable from genuine media. Voice cloning now requires just 3 to 5 seconds of sample audio to create a convincing voice. Think about that. Someone could steal your voice from a short voicemail and use it to impersonate you. Public figures remain the primary targets, accounting for 47% of all deepfakes incidents, with politicians facing the highest risk at 33% of the cases. Governments around the world are finally starting to respond to these challenges. The EU AI Act represents the first comprehensive legal framework on AI worldwide. The Act establishes four risk categories for AI systems: unacceptable risk, high risk, limited risk, and minimal risk. Violations of prohibited AI restrictions are subject to administrative fines of up to 35 million euros or 7% of the organization's total worldwide annual turnover. For most other violations, fines can reach 15 million euro or 3% of annual turnover. The EU isn't alone. The Biden administration AI executive order encourages broad adoption of AI across the government, while more than 800 AI-related bills have been introduced across 48 US states in the 2025 legislative session. Not all news is bad news. Some companies are taking proactive steps to address these challenges. Intel focuses on explainable AI. Salesforce has implemented a comprehensive fairness framework, and Dutch Bank is developing privacy preserving technologies. IBM has developed Watson OpenScale Bias Monitor that automatically identify attributes like sex, ethnicity, marital status, and age and recommend they be monitored. These tools help companies identify potential bias before it causes harm. The AIGA AI governance framework provides 11 guiding principles for reasonable AI development, emphasizing transparency, explainability, fairness, and human oversight. Public sentiment is clear about what needs to happen. 70% of the people believe AI regulation is needed, through few feel current laws are adequate. 79% of people agree that companies using AI should be required to disclose that use. People want transparency, accountability, and control over how AI affects their lives. They are not asking for AI to be banned, they are asking for it to be trustworthy. The challenge is making that happen at the speed of technological development. Here's what you can do right now to help shape a more trustworthy AI future. First, demand transparency from AI companies. Ask how your data is being used, what decisions AI systems are making about you, and how you can opt out. Second, support companies that prioritize AI ethics. Choose businesses that are transparent about their AI use and have clear policies on bias prevention and privacy protection. Third, stay informed about AI policy. Contact your representatives about AI regulation. Participate in public consultation about AI governance. Your voice matters in shaping how these technologies develop. Finally, develop your own AI literacy. Learn to recognize when AI systems might be making decisions about you. Understand your rights under privacy law. The most informed you are, the better you can protect yourself and advocate for others. As we wrap up today's deep dive, remember that the challenges we have discussed aren't distant possibilities. They are current realities affecting millions of people right now. Every day that passes with biased algorithm, privacy violations, and unaccountable AI systems is another day that technology fails to serve human equitability. But here's the crucial point. None of this is inevitable. The bias in AI system is a choice reflected in training data, algorithm design, and deployment decisions. The privacy violations are a choice to prioritize profit over protection. The lack of transparency is a choice to hide rather than explain. The future of AI isn't predetermined, it's being shaped right now by the choices we make as customers, citizens, employees, and human beings. We are, when we demand better, companies respond. When we support responsible AI development, we make it profitable. When we hold technology accountable, we make it trustworthy. The battle for AI soul is happening now, and the outcome will determine whether artificial intelligence becomes a tool for justice or injustice, privacy or surveillance, trust or manipulation. Each of us has a role to play in ensuring that AI revolution serves humanity rather than exploiting it. The hidden challenges of AI bias, privacy violation, and broken trust represent some of the most important issues of our time. But they are not unsolvable. With awareness, action, and accountability, we can build AI systems that are fair, private, and trustworthy. Thanks for joining me on this critical exploration. If this episode opened your eyes to AI's hidden challenges, please share it with someone who needs to understand these issues. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay engaged in shaping the future of artificial intelligence. Until next time, this has been Akhtar Shah reminding you that in a world increasingly governed by algorithm, human judgment, human values, and human dignity must remain at the center of every decision we make about our technological future.